What is the Tyler back with my third review of the SmackDown vs RAW Trilogy in SmackDown vs RAW 2007. Me, the best game of the SmackDown vs RAW Trilogy, because when we get to the next one, yeah. Although this was not that bad compared to the one after. But anyways. It came out in 2006, like a lot of other games that came out around this time. Anyways. So, the controls are different this time around. Let's talk about that. The controls are different. Instead of you can change them if you press on the Type D. You have use the analog sticks this time around, and if you want to do a strong modifier, you press the R1, and yeah. There's a new match type. It's the Money in the Bank ladder match, and yeah, and this is the only way you have to unlock the One Night Stand arena. By the way, you have to play on Legend difficulty and win the Money in the Bank ladder match to unlock that arena, or use a cheat device like the last one does. And yeah, and all the arenas are they have a weird habit going backwards in pay-per-view sets. But yeah, you still have the GM mode. I feel it's so boring booking stuff over and over again, and yeah, and graphics are the same. And there's a funny part. If you play the bar and Raw, you can have a beer thing, and then you give him a Stone Cold. Sorry, you don't have to use Stone Cold for that. And yeah, this has 4 versions of Mick Foley in this game. Himself and his 3 personas. That's kind of weird, but yeah. The challenge one is the same, but then there's that weird one, which yeah. Creations are the same, and they're still great. And pay-per-view mode is the same. Title matches are still there. And now let's talk about the season mode of the game. It's actually the best one, and you go either Raw or SmackDown. Now, if you complete a SmackDown side or vice versa, you're still continuing it, regardless. And there's a lot of storylines. I'm not gonna talk about every storyline. Let's just be honest. You go from being the World Heavyweight Champion, and you have to defend it at WrestleMania. But there's 2 legend storylines in this game. Which I'll stay for the end because they're 2 significant ones. To get your WWE Championship stolen, and except there's one weird part, and this has been one of the last video game appearance, and also Kurt Angle for 11 years later, which will be a future review. Let's not talk about that part. To Booker T being the traitor of SmackDown. Finding Mr. Kennedy and Mark Henry for Armageddon, yeah. Competing in the Royal Rumble. You have to defend against your being buddies with Rey Mysterio, being champions. Rey wants to be the World Heavyweight Champion. Taylor's like, no, you're not World Heavyweight Championship material, which is kind of stupid because 2006 was Rey when Rey won the World Heavyweight Championship. If you don't know already, go back to my SmackDown or my WrestleMania 22 review 2 years ago. But yeah. Also Triple H becoming the GM of Raw, trying to screw Edge over. Also, Edge was the WWE Championship for twice in 2006, which is kind of weird. Also, that weird Candice Michelle magical storyline, which turns Edge into a boogeyman and talks like Davari. Yeah, that happened. Um, yeah, and let's talk about the Legend storylines. I think the best one was the Stephanie McMahon one, but the first one was a non-change storyline where Mick Foley and Roddy Piper were just wrestling each other, and Bam Bigelow has signs with Piper, and you're trying to help out Mick Foley, but near the you're throwing counter where Roddy Piper, Mick Foley just turns on you, and Bigelow teams up in a tag match to take on Piper and Foley. But it doesn't matter which one you do. But anyways, and the Stephanie McMahon one is the best one where it makes like a bunch of legends and then the later part, right, Piper kidnapped her somewhat. But yeah, if you find out it was the ruse, Piper and Stephanie were working together, and that didn't work last long because you beat right Piper in a first blood match, and that's it. Great storyline, but still great storyline, But yeah, and there's some flaws, like the audio for some reason in the Survivor Series arena, which has the SmackDown commentators. It plays the Raw announcers for some reason, and the unlockable arenas, like the Saturday Night Main Event arena and the One Night Stand arena, where she had to complete like a certain challenge one, or the Money in the Bank one, like I mentioned. To Also just brought the new Ultimate Control move, which I forgot to mention, and yeah, it's a cool feature though. But and it's the first time you find the crowd. Also, I forgot to mention. Um, but yeah, some of the stuff is like the audio was kind of weird. Also, the voice. So there's like about like the animations are a lot better than what they were in '06. So Booker T's Sister K looks actually decent, and yeah, other things, and this is the first time we get voicemail, which will be happening in the next few, like 08, 9, 10, and 11. So 4 games after this, and yeah, there's only like 2 cons on the game: the voiceover, the audio in the game, and the the way you unlock arenas. That's the only 2 cons of the game. But the rest of the game is really good. Locker room is a lot better in this game actually, and this is the best game of the trilogy I review. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. Great game. Now the next one is SmackDown vs RAW 2008, featuring ECW. Yeah. And this was not a long video like my '06 one. So yeah. Bye.